Good morning. It is 9 a.m. Welcome to the January 29th Cottington County Board of Commissioners weekly meeting. We will begin the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll lead it this morning. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good morning, everybody. It's a little chilly out there. We're hardy South Dakotans, all right. Couple of housekeeping chores. If you have a cell phone, please silence it or turn it off. If you get a call that you need to take, please step out in the rotunda area and take the call. Is there anyone in the audience that has an item that isn't on the agenda that they would like to address the board about? Seeing none, is there any items on the agenda that any of the board members feel there may be a conflict of interest? Seeing none, I'll
make a motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Is there some discussion?
You may want to mention that we are streaming.
I do want to make one change to the agenda. Right after we get the minutes approved, we're going to drop down to item number 14, a discussion with Representative of Punished Women Lake Association, simply because the gentlemen that are here need to get out and get back cleaning off the roads. Also, this meeting is being streamed live, so if you address the board, you will be streamed. So I do have a motion by Hatton.
There is a request for executive session at the end of the meeting.
Okay, yes. Have a motion by Hatton, second by Troy to approve the agenda. Any other items that we need to address? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Action to approve
Move
the
to approve
minutes.
as emailed.
Second.
Motion by Hatton, second by Gable. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, let's go right on down to item number 14, discussion with representatives of Punished Women's Lake Association regarding the culvert and outlet. And Matt Whitney is in the audience. Would you come up, Matt? And Rick, would you come up also? Part of this discussion. And there are pictures in your packet, and there is an explanation. But who wants to read or start the discussion? Rick?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Matt.
Hello, Matt Whitney from Punished Women Lake Association. Here trying to figure out how and why the county thinks we would be responsible for their road and culvert if something was to happen to it.
They did work in the right-of-way. They rip-wrapped it. Some of the rip-wrap is a little smaller than what I anticipated would be put in there. So if it's washed out, should the county be responsible for work that someone else did? That's...
Going back to Lake Association being responsible from our proposal, before to you guys, I think we did exactly what we proposed. We proposed to dig out the area between the outlet and the culvert, shape up the south side, lay down fabric, and have rock placed to prevent future washout. And it says here, Punished Women Lake is willing to buy the fabric, hire the excavator and labor for a total bid of X amount of money, and that is what we did. We went through ConAgra, talked to the guy there. He said, this is the rock you need, and we went with that. If there's a certain size rock you were expecting or anticipating, if that was said ahead of time, we'd have had no problem specifying that, to ConAgra, where we got the rock from.
I had mentioned to Jamie Dolan, I asked him what size rock he was going to use, B or C class material, and he had said that the guy from the Game Fish and Parks would take care of that. He had done a lot of those, so that part would be taken care of.
As far as B and C,
That's a class of riprap that's used on places like that. I've got a pile of Class B riprap in my yard right now for a project that's gonna get bid this summer.
so this was told to us ahead of time? That-
Yes,
Okay, because in the proposal, we didn't have anything stating anything.
I had mentioned it to Jamie, and he was going to find out. I never heard another thing until after the job was completed,
Okay,
and
'cause-
I got a picture of it saying it was completed. I didn't see any riprap beforehand or anything, so.
okay, this is rock that was placed. We had the project done, then 3 months later, we get a letter saying that we're gonna be responsible.
I had told Jamie that he was gonna get a letter.
Okay. Well, where do we go from here? I mean, we as Punish Woman Lake Association, we have, I mean, a couple $1,000 in our account. There's no way we can afford to replace culverts, road, or right away.
So the county should be, if the road washes out, the county should be held responsible for over $50,000 to replace the culverts and the road and everything.
Well, if you could give somebody $1,500 and pass the buck on down the road, you should pay everybody that has a culvert to, if they're gonna be responsible for it later on. I mean,
Well, that's up for these guys to decide, so. If we wanna just pass the buck on down, the county will take it.
well, do you think the rock should be taken out and redone then, or?
We'll have to see what happens,
Well, if you wait till the road's washed out, then it's too late. But if you think this rock is seriously undersized, something should be done before there's damage to your road.
Are you gonna be able to do it right now?
No.
When are you
no.
gonna be able to do it?
Well, I suppose when the snow melts, I would think, but
Okay, when the snow melts, what's gonna happen? Is the ground still gonna be froze? And then it's gonna wash? We're in a bad spot right now. Because by the time it's able to dig that out, the
well,
road
do
could
you
be washing
think
out.
it should be dug out?
Some of it, yes. Some of it has a lot of
Do you
small
think
rock
what
in
we
it.
have there now is worse than what was there before? Or is it
Chairman?
better than what was there before?
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, just if I can make a suggestion. I have a general idea of the issue. I think it might be good if we just kind of step-by-step walk through, somebody write down for us what happened and what the issue is. So I kind of understand that it's an issue of the rock size and whether or not there's riprap under the rock. Is that right? Is that basically what?
Yeah, they put fabric down and the riprap was on
Okay.
top of that, so.
Okay, and the risk is that because it's the wrong size and the wrong.
There was
type
a lot of small material in there.
Okay, so.
Hopefully it doesn't wash.
Okay, that there's now okay.
What-
Got it.
what- When you say, excuse me,
Go ahead.
when you say small material, Rick, what's the difference between the material that's in there now and what we put in the one we worked with Clark Engineering on?
Most of that, there is some smaller material in there, but most of it is a foot to 16 to 18 inches in diameter.
Is that a class B?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
yeah, and that, most of it was fractured. What they used was, it's not field rock because it was mined, but, the fractured stuff lays together, it'll bond together easier. Where field rock, it looks nice, and it's just placed there, but there's nothing really to hold it from
And
washing
this
out.
looks like field rock
Yes. And it's,
or mined
it'll be
rock?
called, yeah, it'll be called field rock, but it was mined,
Looks nice.
so.
And
It does look nice.
The reason that they used that is because that was washed and cleaned to help deter any sort of seeds or weed seeds, whatever, of being within, if you just go grab rock off a rock pile, you have that tendency to have that. So they went to and got these washed rock to try to prevent any further issues down the road with that kind of.
I think, Mr. Chairman, what I'd suggest is maybe if you could just kind of lay out what the risk is, so we understand what the risk of this this situation is, and we can kind of, in terms of how bad it could be and in terms of how likely it is, and maybe that's not something that, I realize that's kind of it's kind of a gray area. You don't know that for sure, but that's kind of, I think, what we need to know at this point.
The point is that it may last forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could.
Yeah, it's, we don't know. We don't know. There's some possibilities.
But the other issue is the fact that, like, with the Punished Women's Lake Association, wouldn't be able to incur these kinds of costs for replacing any of this sort of damage, if there ever is any. So that's kind of where we've run into.
It looks like a
this.
lot of this project was completed with donations and
Some
county
of our,
assistance.
mostly our money, but some money from you and some from
GF&P.
GF&P had sent us a letter.
Yeah.
They
I
think,
remember
they think the project looks good. after
Well, I
it's
think it looks
completed.
good. I'm not saying that, but
Well, I would suggest that maybe we just kind of lay out in a letter or a piece of paper or something that just says this is what the problem might be, what the risk is, so we can understand that, and maybe, we don't have it, it's a discussion item on the agenda, we're not gonna take action today if
No,
it's not.
no.
So.
Do you
so we
think,
can-
in your opinion, is it worse now than it was before, as far as washability and,
well, the road was established, it was, the vegetation and everything was there to help hold everything, and with cleaning all that out of there,
but the
and with small
vegetation grew
material,
over time, there wasn't rock and fabric placed there originally.
no, but there
But
was,
this was an overgrowth, is what happened there.
but that stuff helps hold the material there from washing out.
Oh, I realize it would help hold it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I don't, but I think Commissioner Gable has an idea, has a plan. If Rick will, basically lay out what could happen, and if something happens, then we'll look and address what the issue or what we should have to do. When I look at this and I see, it looks pretty doggone good to me, and it looks like it's gonna take a pretty good flood in order to take that stuff out. It's gonna take a lot of water.
Well, we're gaining a lot of water.
I know, every day we get a little more snow. But if, you certainly can't depend on any other help, but it's possible if we would get a flood or a tremendous input of water, that we could maybe get some,
Homeland
interior
Security.
help from FEMA or something like that to help out
Rick, is
down
there-
the road.
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Is there any concern about public safety with the work that was done there? I mean, as
No,
far as this
not-
washing out or anything like that? Is this the
Not
road
unless
right
it
here?
washed the road, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, okay.
That would be my only concern. That's my whole deal, is just if the road would get washed,
Right.
Right now, there's just a lot of what-ifs.
Yeah.
Because we haven't
Yeah.
been through a season yet of,
Yep, and that's why I sent the letter, just inform them as
Is
to
that-
waiting until,
Is there a copy of that letter with this packet that we received?
No, it came to you earlier, so I did not include it with the letter. I mean, I did not
I
include
have
it this
it.
time.
I don't know if they-
Rick had,
I'd like to see a
Rick
copy
had
of
sent
that.
it to you.
Yeah.
I think Rick
that
had
would
sent it
help
to you
us.
previously.
yeah.
Like, what is the risk?
We can get
if
I
there
have
is
it, we can
risk,
get a
what
copy
it
for
should
the
we
other
do to
one.
mitigate it? So that kind of laying it out, like, so.
Okay, what is,
That's that kind of thing.
Rick, you want to share with us, so if we say, okay, we would like to have you, come back with what?
Well, what I just had,
Yeah.
I was just kind of explain what I was thinking. So if you could tell us, what's the risk, how likely it is and how bad it can be, and then what options do we have if the risk is bad, how do we mitigate the risk? And so, one thing we could just do nothing, one thing we could pull it out and fix it all, or maybe there's something in between, or, so just understanding what those options are based upon how bad it could be, and how likely it is to be, how bad it could be, I realize, it's just, you can just describe it as best you can, so that
Is
would be
the, looking at the letter there, is the concern the rock size?
yes.
Okay. You're saying that the rocks are too small.
There was quite a few smaller rocks in there, and when you buy rock, there's a certain amount of smaller stuff that is included.
Okay.
But when I looked at it, like I said, it looks nice, but there was a lot of rocks that holds absolutely nothing.
Now,
So-
Rick, with this, or either one of you, with the smooth, it looks like landscaping. What's the possibility of putting riprap over the top of that rock, riprap?
I don't know how well it would,
Rock.
I don't know how well it would stay over the rock that's already there.
That's what it is.
You know, there's a possibility that that could just get washed away. So,
Problem that you're gonna have too, if you start pulling that stuff out, you're gonna pull up the fabric as
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
And-
Yeah.
there's no way you'd be able to pick the rock up.
No.
Without wrecking the fabric.
Without wrecking the fabric, because
Yeah.
it'd have to be relayed,
Yeah.
everything.
So just to put this in layman's terms that are simple for me to understand is that if this floods, those smaller rocks are going to wash out.
There's a
That's the
likelihood
issue.
of that.
So,
Yeah. Because there's a
we
lot
need
of
bigger
water that
rock.
runs through there.
okay. All right.
Oh, yeah, and it's coming in a pretty good force too, through there.
Yeah.
So does ConAgra have the size of rock
I'm sure
that
they
we
do.
were, or
I'm sure
would
they
have?
do.
Okay.
Yeah. They just don't usually have the fractured material. It's more of the field stone, you know, the rounder stuff.
All right, at this point, get things moving along here. We'll have Rick come back to the commission with a list of what could happen and what might happen, and we'll try to keep you, the Punishment Lake Association, in the loop,
Okay.
so they know what we're talking about and what we discuss here.
Yeah, because if something's got to get done, we got a small amount of money to work with. I mean, obviously, we don't have enough to replace your road, but if you think, if it's that dire that you think this is going to wash the road out, we should probably try and get something done.
Yep, and longer we wait, the more possibilities there are, right?
Would it all need to be redone or just along the bank of where the road is?
Most of it would be right along the inslope of the ditch
Yeah.
by the culverts. You know, because the rest of it,
So it'd be just
would
that
be back far
smaller
enough that-
area?
hopefully that would all stay in there.
Sort of
Like I said,
this area.
it looks nice.
By the way,
This area
appreciate the
is-
pictures,
No, it's
that
on the
really helps.
backside.
Thanks for familiarizing ourselves.
That really helps us look at what the situation is without going
I
up
took
there.
pictures when I
30
was up there
below
campaigning,
temperatures.
actually.
All right, are you okay? So when we walk out of here, we know what we're gonna do?
Yep,
All right, good.
yep,
All right, thank you.
I can help you if you need help.
okay. Yep.
All right, let's go back to number 5, then monthly reports, and Brad, Mr. Sheriff.
Could I take a minute and share an email that I just got?
Yep.
Regarding the closing of the SDSU campus later today through noon on Thursday, that also includes the SDSU regional offices out here. So they will also be closed, if anybody asks, along with the 4-H youth advisor. Okay.
Okay,
So when I was up there, I took pictures also when I was campaigning. I'll see if I can find the culverts.
Killed a tree today with this report, so you guys will get plenty of paper.
I think the culvert was like, what's backside? Because it comes there and then it goes.
and when you get done with your report, we're just going to go ahead and keep you up here for item
Couple.
number 6 and
Yeah,
7.
Yep.
All right, go ahead, Brad.
Start with this one, and then I got the year-end report. So, start with the monthly balance sheet there on the first page in that paper that I gave you. Month of December 2018, end of December 2018, $7,010 in the account. And we collected $20 in copy fees, $5,825.50 in sheriff's fees, and $575 in warrant fees, for a grand total of $6,420.50. Jump to the next page there. Lee's got her up on the big screen, so you can see that in December of 18, the sheriff's office responded to 526 cases and calls, 14 accidents, 79 warrants were served, 160 civil papers were served, and 3,361 transport miles. You want to jump on down to the jail activity there? For December 2018, we were at 61.39 for our average daily population. 69 was our high, 55 was the low average daily population. He's messing with me there.
I was just trying to make it bigger for the,
And
our huge audience.
for our scram fees, we had 23 people on the scram bracelet, 71 people on the twice daily PBT, 69 people on the twice weekly UAs, 3 people on the sweat patch, and we had a total of 233 bookings. And if you look, we had 166 people grand total on the 24/7 on that little graph right up above there. And 61.39 was our average daily population. You scroll down to the bottom of the page. For out-of-county contracts, collected $12,100.87. Work release fees, $4,970. 24/7 fees were $4,713. And scram fees, $4,502 collected. So that was for December. And another ream of paper here to send out to you guys. Should be 3 to go that way. 3 to go this way. Save that one right there. This is our 2018 jail year-end report here. Kind of go through these numbers here with you really quick like. If you look at our average daily population for the last 4 years here, you'll see that we were at 67.88 for 2018. Last year in 17, we were at 78.98, 73.11 in 2016, and 68.49 in 2015. So we're actually a little bit lower than we were for our average daily population in 2015. So
That's good.
that dropped considerably last year. If you look at the total number of bookings down there at the bottom, you'll see 2018 was a busy year as well. It was one of our higher years. We had 2,970 bookings, so there's still people getting brought in, spending less time in our facility.
Brad, I have a question.
Sure.
That presumptive probation, is that somewhat affecting those numbers that they're giving those individuals, are able to give them more leeway basically, or like a get out of jail free, and then each time it gets a little worse?
My opinion is the presumptive probation had kind of something to do with our spike rising. In 2018, you'll look at our transport miles when we get to that page. We did a lot more transports than the years past. We sent a lot more people to the penitentiary in 2018. Presumptive probation kind of pushed them off a little bit instead of
okay.
gave them a lot more chances.
Yeah.
I don't have the data to back that
Yeah,
up.
I think that, and that's hard, that's really hard to pull out. I mean,
Yes,
you're
it-
going into each of the court cases and stuff and looking at them. But I think that kind of fits with, if you look at when that bill was implemented, the Public Safety Improvement Act in 2013, SB 70 was 2013? I think it was
Yes.
2013. So, and then if you kind of look at the numbers are rising, you know, and we've looked at it in those graphs we looked at before with the annual, when we were looking at the data before. And then it kind of, then as, you know, presumptive probation doesn't mean a judge can't send somebody to prison, but they have to have a really good reason, and they have to do special justification to do that. And so basically I think that's what's going on, is that they're, okay, they've had enough, we're doing that. In some cases with people that reoffend, so it's like, okay, guys, you know.
Well, each time they reoffend, it just adds to their list of their felony. I mean, it just gets worse for them. So they, in the end, they're going to end up down there anyways because of where they're at by the time they
The judge's mind, you know, before you can only reoffend so many times before they have to do something to protect the public.
And there's hopefully a few other things, you know, like some of the initiatives with mental health. I think that's probably not a huge impact right now, but maybe a few inmates, it's helping. Like we're one of the pilot counties with where we have our mental health professional in the jail, communicating with the judge about what's the screening and assessment result of a particular defendant that might have an issue. So
I think they're looking at it out the legislature, I think, is taking a look at that anyway, so it'll be interesting.
The bill that's in the legislature right now, and I don't know what the number of that is right now, but that, the overall substance of that is to do away with.
Or presumptive probation, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Senate, I want to say it's Senate Bill 19.
Give the judges a little bit more
Yeah.
Yeah,
Control map.
discretion.
I think it's Senate Bill 19. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I
that's
don't know what it is,
Yeah.
All right.
And I think another reason, I'd like to think that all the programs that the county's working on is helping reduce some of that population as well. Like I say, I don't have that data to confirm that. I know that's something that Lee's kind of been working on in his spare time to kind of try to put some of this together. So it's been trying, but some of that may be that lower number, some of the programs that we've been working with.
I think it's mostly what you said, though. Mostly, it's just kind of effectively ending probation, presumptive probation for people that deserve to have it ended, basically. That's kind of what's going on, I think.
Yeah. So if we jump to the next page there, total prisoner days for 2018, we're at 24,909. As you can see, that was about 4,000 less than the year before, 17. We jump down to the 24/7 program. You can tell by the numbers this last year that we've had a lot more participants. Therefore, we brought in $79,941 in 24/7 fees. From 2015, that was $46,994, so you can see there's quite a jump there. There's an increase in $17,000 from last year, 24/7 fees. There was 37,732 PBTs given in 2018 with only 108 failures. So that's a pretty good number when you start looking at 37,700 PBTs given, with only 108 failures. That's a pretty good success rate right there. The UAs are starting to rise. Did 5,512 urinalysis in the jail, with 53 failures and 110 people missed their UAs. There were 42 drug patches applied in 2018 with 6 failures, and there was 96 individuals wearing the scram bracelet, and there was 30 failures. That number kind of looks a little high, but the way that scram bracelets work is we had a couple guys that took off and ran. One guy was on the loose for 21 days, and he was drinking every day while he was on the loose. We couldn't find him, so to scram, they send us a email every day, and that's reported as a failure. So if you look at that number, it's more like probably 5 or 6 actual failures.
Because every day it was him, the same person.
Yeah, it was the same person every day when he was out on the run for that 21 days.
But going back to that, speaking in that rationale, and say in the UA's line, the 53 failures are just individual visits, for a urinalysis there.
Yep.
Okay.
And
That's
those
where
could-
they actually came back or presumed to be
Hot for
ingested or hot for controlled
Yep.
substance.
And when it's those failures, could it be the same person that's reoffending several times, or is that?
That's kind of all over the board with the UAs. That's a little bit everybody.
Okay.
Most of them, when they fail, they get
Yeah.
arrested on the spot. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
They come in, sit a couple days, report goes over to the judge. All right. Keep on rolling here. We'll jump down to the money collected in jail here. Like I say, $79,941 collected in 24/7 fees for 18, $83,230 for work release fees, out-of-county contracts, $144,618.24 collected, fingerprint fees, $1,660 collected, money to the clerks was $236,282, scram fees, $64,040. Cost of confinement to the auditor, $12,000. Secures phone cards, $52,000 for a grand total of $673,771.24. The county received $361,449.24 of that money. It went back to the general fund.
Right, just a quick question for you on the 24/7 sobriety program fees. I don't think a lot of people understand that there is a fee that is assessed against the person that has to come in and blow. What are those fees?
To come in and do a PBT, it's $1.50 per PBT, so it's $3 a day. For the UA, it's a $10 a day fee to come in and do that. And they do that twice a
Those
week.
prices have been constant for quite a while, though.
They've been constant for quite some time.
And are those set by the courts then, or who sets those fees?
They are set by the 24/7 program, the state coordinator.
State
Something
coordinator,
that we
okay.
look through to make sure that it's an offender pay program, so it supports itself. With these fees, we actually have a 24/7 fund in the jail, our own line item budgeted there, and we pay our 24/7 coordinator out of that and all the supplies from that. This next year, looking at the number of people, the UAs, and what's coming up here, we may have to start supplementing with a part-timer with some of them fees, that money that we're bringing in to help with that one of these years,
Yep.
to help with UAs and the 24/7 program.
But that's kind of a good problem.
Yeah, like I say, it's offender pay, so it's paying for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, and for people, so that $144,618, just so people know what that is, that's the out-of-county contract, so that's the $75 a day for a bed that I
Yep.
know that other counties pay to use our jail. So
Yep.
that's, there's always a lot of question about out-of-county, so
Yep.
it's not a large percentage, but it does help.
Well, for all those individuals that are out, on those different programs, if they weren't able to be in that program, they'd be sitting in our jail. So when you see that there's only 108 failures, it definitely seems to be a success as far as most of them adhere to what they need to do.
Out of almost 38,000 PBTs, 108, that's a pretty good percentage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It works.
Jump down, like I say, the inmate folk card proceeds, collected 52,000. We purchased $37,403.40, so made a profit of $14,596.60 on the phone cards and $1,356 commission from the phone system we have. If you look at the back page, that's just kind of interesting to see the ADP, the average daily population from 1985 when we were at 20 people till today, 67.88. So it ranges a little bit. You can kind of see the steady incline over the last 30 years. So
1988 was a slow year, 16
16 people.
We had a lot of graphs with this. So,
Yeah, now we're at 67,
Yep.
68.
So
Was that before it was remodeled to what it is now?
the same building. Today, like I say, we're using some stuff in the basement, and we've done a little bit more remodeling, but pretty much using a lot of the same space that they did back in 1985.
What's kind of interesting, if you graph this out, I've done it probably more times than a normal person would, but anyway, when the 24/7 program was implemented in about 2007, you can see, the population still went up,
I think I gave
but it just tipped down a little bit. It didn't go up as fast. I mean, it's a very effective program.
Make sure I got enough for everybody.
Yeah, you can see the incline up to 2006 and then the reduction in 2007.
Yeah.
So it's pretty consistent.
But it is when you look at this, it really kind of sets you back when you think, well, when that jail was built, we're talking about 20 prisoners. And it was a top drawer facility for 20 prisoners, and all of a sudden we tripled that.
Manageable.
Okay.
All right, gave you one more sheet there.
Good rundown.
That's 2018, some numbers from the sheriff's office side there. Scroll across, total monies received, $706,338.91 went through our accounts. See, if you add that, that's not including the jail numbers. So if you add both of those, it was a little over $1 million that comes and goes through our office a year. So it's a large amount of funds. Sheriff's fees collected $97,556.94. Executions collected $13,768.78. And warrant fees collected $4,905.
For clarification, just back up and the execution, we didn't kill anybody.
No.
Just so that term always just jumps out at you.
The execution, that's a civil,
I was nervous. 13,000 people?
Yeah.
yeah. The executions, that's the civil collection side of the sheriff's office, the civil process side. We're collecting property and doing sheriff sales, so
Thank you, Myron.
just to, clear that
Just
up.
for clarification.
Yep.
Yeah.
If we jump down to the bottom, we served 2,784 papers, 73 executions. Once again, not like Myron's talking. We worked 73 executions, so 943 warrants were served. And of the 943 warrants were served, there was 1,130 issued. So pretty good at trying to keep on getting all the ones that are issued served. 6,398 calls for service. Transport miles were 52,529 miles that we put on. That's just transport miles leaving the county, running around. Mortgage foreclosures were 17. And accidents, we investigated 150 accidents.
Question on the foreclosures, Brad.
Yep.
I see we got November, December is 0. I see also August and September were 0. Would those last 2 months of the year be anything to do with cold weather and not be some legal thing about not serving papers?
Nope, it has nothing to do with that. The mortgage foreclosures, I say that usually starts with the bank. The bank, if we're not paying our house payment, starts with the bank and then ends up with us.
Nothing weather,
Just a-
nothing weather
Yeah,
related?
nothing weather related.
Okay.
If you actually look from last year, 2017, we did 30 mortgage foreclosures, and then 18 we did 17. So you can see at the beginning of the year we did a lot more of them than we did towards the end of the year. Just the way that the economy.
Well, you always,
I guess.
you hear rumors about, oh, I've got little kids, you can't foreclose on me, you can't kick me, you can't tell me that I can't live here. Yeah, you can have your utilities on during the day, but you can't have them on during the night.
Yep.
And rumors, and that's why I asked.
Yeah. No, nothing weather related, just the way the kind of economy fell.
You know, your calls for service, Brad, I was looking at those, 6,398, that averages out to about 533 calls a month, which breaks down to about 18 calls a day that the deputies are taking out on the road.
That's
Those
about-
are calls for service that are just when the public calls for a deputy, right? Respond,
Yep.
so.
That's just about 400 more calls than last year. We were at 6,084 last year, and this year 6,398.
Yeah, and we're seeing those numbers go up yearly.
Yep.
Any reason why? I mean, there's something that we can't pin on drugs?
Crime, drugs,
Oh, okay.
weather-related stuff.
It all depends, you know, your accident investigations and stuff. Those numbers could be swayed by the type of winter you have. I mean, you could have a winter that's really rough where you investigate 50 accidents, you know, in a month, or you could have a winter that's really nice and you have 10. So those numbers can be swayed pretty easily just based on the weather conditions. So,
The one number that I'm looking at right now is the transport miles.
I actually have 2017's number there. That was 48,678. And I remember when we hit that, that was a milestone as well.
Yeah.
Compared to the years before. This year,
48,000 what?
48,678 for 17. 2018 was 52,529.
Yeah,
So
they really jumped.
each year they've jumped up a lot.
and that's, just for clarification, that's picking up prisoners, bringing prisoners back to our county on Cottington County warrants, and also taking them to other places like the state penitentiary and that sort of thing.
There used to be some sort of organized system where they would have a bus or whatever that would make connections, and that no longer is happening, so now it's on the individual, other than if you get them to Sioux Falls.
There is a statewide bus system still. It goes across the state. Yeah, there was several years ago, there used to be one that went from Sisseton up to Sioux Falls and did the I-29 corridor.
Pennington County has one, don't they,
Yep.
that they run?
Yep, Pennington County, we use that quite a bit, getting people to Sioux Falls and Pennington and back and forth across the state.
But the one that, yeah, the other one that we were utilizing more
Yep.
shut down.
That did shut down several years ago now.
Yep.
I remember shutting it down, but I don't remember why, right off the top.
I think it was the lack of inmates that were coming and going in the counties that were using it. I think we were probably one of the main ones using that shuttle back and forth. So I think the cost got a little too expensive for the state or whoever that was putting it on.
Watertown Transit probably don't want to do that.
At the time, they looked and they offered it to us if we wanted to run the bus. We'd have to pay mileage for so much, and we figured it out at the time to see if it would be costworthy, and it wasn't costworthy for us to drive that vehicle either, so we just decided to not take that project on.
You're still using your van for transport?
Yeah. We're actually looking at purchasing another one here on agenda item 6 or 7, so.
All right. Any more questions about
That's the plan set.
Brad's report?
It's good, Brad.
If not, then let's just go ahead and go on down to item number 6, which is action to approve the purchase of 2 patrol vehicles as budgeted. And I guess we just talked about the miles that we're putting on here, so go ahead, Brad. What are these for?
Got 2 vehicles. I'm looking to get a transport vehicle and then a full-size Tahoe, full-size type vehicle. The full-size Tahoe did not get any bids for a full-size vehicle from anybody, so looking at state bid price there of $35,230. And then for a Dodge Caravan to replace the Dodge Caravan that we have right now with a lot of miles on it. Watertown Ford did come in with a bid of $22,048. By the time you factor in shipping fees of the state bid, the Dodge Caravan through Watertown Ford is a better deal at $22,000.
Make a motion to approve those, the purchase of those 2 patrol vehicles as budgeted.
We have a motion by Hatton, second by Gable. Discussion, and this is a
Brad.
budgeted item.
What
These
is
are
the,
both budgeted items.
Will we be trading anything in?
Yes, we're looking at getting rid of the 2005 Suburban.
Because we're going to need to declare those.
We will need to declare.
You'll
Yeah,
prepare
we'll-
the paperwork
yeah,
for me
we'll
to
prepare
declare
when-
those.
When the vehicles come in.
Okay.
But the 2005 Suburban would need to be traded in because that was bought on Homeland Security grants back in '05.
why is Chevy Tahoe, Brad? I'm just curious.
They're actually cheaper than a Ford Explorer. right
Really?
now by a lot of money. The Ford Explorers took a large jump this year, so they're a little bit cheaper. It's a full-size vehicle. We need something that can pull trailers and
Yeah.
stuff for execution.
Okay. And is that going to replace the Suburban then?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right, let's go on to number 7. Possible action to publish an RFP for jail inmate health services. And in your packet, there's a pretty lengthy proposal in here. And I know Brad and Lee have been working on this. And I actually read this thing. It was too cold to go outside and blow snow, so I was reading this thing. And you did add a few additional things to this.
Yeah,
wasn't
we've been working, so Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman, you
and who wants to do the review of it?
want me to start off, Sheriff, and then I'll...
Go for it.
Okay,
ahead,
so,
Lee.
yeah,
If you wanna-
so we, basically with the sheriff and Matt Blackwelder, the chief corrections officer, started looking at the idea of achieving some efficiencies in how we provide health care for inmates. And there's a lot of opportunity there to save some money, both in medicine and trips to the emergency room. So, and by having somebody that's used to dealing with inmates in the healthcare in an inmate, jail setting, we can achieve some savings, and particularly in those 2 areas. So this would be kind of looking at getting some proposals on how to provide a comprehensive soup to nuts, with nursing, triage, on-call doctor, mental health services to help us handle that, help the jail handle that as best they can. And we're pretty sure that with the money that's currently budgeted for operations in the jail for those kinds of things would cover this. But we'll see. We'll have to see when, you won't see for sure until you get proposals. So Brad and Matt got hold of, I don't know, about 10 or so proposals from other similar RFPs from other counties around the country for this. And so this is basically a compilation of things. This is my compilation. Actually, most of the RFPs we looked at were a lot longer.
60, 70 pages.
So this one is down to about 9 because we want to give, my thought was to give the proposer enough room to make suggestions, since they're the experts at this as we go through it. But on the other hand, we don't have to take action today. It depends on how comfortable you are. The state's attorney got back to me today with her comments.
There's just a couple things couple little notes, nothing big, but
Okay,
a couple
all
things.
right.
But actually, all we're doing today is giving permission to request proposals.
Yeah, just to publish this. So if we can do it either way. You can
Like I
just,
said, I'll get with you after and we'll just
yeah, we can.
make sure that we're,
So if just depending on the sense of the board, I'm comfortable if we want to go ahead and adopt this motion, then we'll, just put it on me, the sheriff, and to finish it up, and then publish it say by next week, put it online, and then,
So what you're saying is like with the mental health, that could be a whole different provider than who's
could be.
doing
Yeah,
the...
yep, which would,
So
you
this
know,
would allow for that you can
Yeah.
grab from different.
And that, but that, you know, what typically happens, and just like say with the courthouse remodel, when you bring in a bigger contractor, they're gonna look around the community for, you know, for the people to hire, or the subcontractors, so,
Look
so
on
it's typically.
page 5, 3.4 paragraph, I was reading that, and I don't know what that's supposed to be, a 1 or an I, or it doesn't fit. You may just want to go and fix something.
There's some
I
typos.
got a lot of those marked.
There's some typos in
There's
there.
some clerical things that we
I
have to-
couldn't follow it, so
I was the secretary, it's my second, you know.
Well, I didn't know if you just wanted to fix that.
Which one?
maybe. On the 3.4, it says,
I got it marked.
add an appropriate staffing,
Oh, yeah, okay.
something to perform all.
That was first, okay, all right, yeah, thanks for reading. Yeah, I got a lot of typos corrected by the
Bunch of them
state's
marked up,
attorney as
so.
well. And also the insurance folks looked at it too, so. for the-
All right, so what's the wishes of the board?
So I'll make a motion that we,
All right, we have a motion by Gable.
What's the motion?
So the
Hold
motion-
it, what's the
the
motion?
motion would specifically be that we issue the RFP pending the final corrections by the sheriff, Commissioner Gable, and we already have them received from the state's attorney and the insurance folks.
Okay.
Or,
Uh,
yeah, you can get it cleaner than that, don't
It's
you?
possible action to publish an RFP is what's on the agenda. That's what you asked me to
Yeah, I
put
did,
down.
yeah. What-
Discussion and possible action to publish an RFP. So
Bring it back next week.
we're not going to publish this whole document, correct?
Yeah, you have, yeah. It won't, yes, you kind of do have to publish
You
it.
have to publish the whole document.
Can you refer, well, I know what you're thinking about putting it in, typically, this is the shortest one I've seen.
Well, I realize this is your request for proposals, but
Right.
do you have to publish this whole thing, or do you have this on hand for
We put it
anyone who's
online.
interested?
Yeah, you could
In
easily put it online, that's no problem, putting the document
Right,
online as a PDF.
but your
in the paper-
publication
When we went
with
out.
Cottington County is
So what's
interested in
the-
proposals for
Is the
inmate
proper-
health services, copy of the
Okay.
RFP can be obtained.
Okay, we can do it that way.
But
How do we-
I'm not saying that's the way you, I just want to know what exactly you are doing.
What did we do when
For
we
my
asked
motion.
for a request for proposals on, when we were going out trying to find the architects and stuff? What did we do? Did we publish the whole thing, or how did we say it then?
I think we,
Are you going to publish in newspapers or just online? I guess is my question also.
the main thing was to publish online,
Okay.
so that's what I was thinking. So,
It-
Is that, that's
What
okay?
does
with me?
state law say?
There's no request, there is no state law for requests for proposals, only for the bid letting process.
Okay.
This is not a bid letting process, this is a request for proposals. But
Proposal can be viewed at
I just want
the webpage.
a really clean motion here on what we're doing.
All right, Gable, clean it up.
Okay, so the motion is to publish a request for proposals, pending final edits by the sheriff.
How you want it?
And publish
How do you wanna
publish it on the county website. To publish the request for proposals on the county website.
Okay, my question will be then, how do people know that it's even out there?
We can't start, the way you typically do it is there's people that actually watch this stuff. I've actually
Okay.
got calls, but also we'll find them and email several of them, and so.
Is that going without,
the motion
outside
is-
of our realm then, if you're specifically contacting
No,
people?
it's-
Is that
it's-
unfair,
I
that
mean, you
the
try to
ones
find
that
as
you
many,
don't?
try to find as many as you can. I mean, you should. I mean, you're not, it's, you want people to know about it.
Right, but
So,
then if
and
you
what did
miss
we- what did
somebody,
What did we do for the architect? Did we?
We
put
published in
the
newspapers.
whole RFP?
No, just what we were looking for,
No, this is
for the
just mine.
project.
That might be good to do that then.
So,
There's something
Yeah,
short
why
and
can't we
sweet.
just do a blip in the paper, Cottington County is requesting RFPs.
and we did it in the Sioux Falls papers as well, if I remember right.
Sioux Falls, Fargo, yeah.
We did several.
That way it'd be,
I just want it clear what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
For my motion.
Mr. Gable, Commissioner Gable. Could we just clear this up just a little bit more?
Yeah, so publish notification of an RFP on the paper, and is that how you'd say it?
Why don't we go
Promotion.
back and say what we did for the RFPs for when
Yeah,
we
that's
took
what
the
I mean,
proposals? The same route that we did, whatever papers it was.
Well, I mean,
Well, it has to be the two
those
county
were
papers, right?
newspapers.
Well, yeah.
Because that was a whole different, That was a bid process. It's not the same as a request.
No, I'm talking about RFP. if you
Yeah,
want-
We did an RFP too,
For,
For the
for the
architect.
architects.
Yeah,
And then
for-
we
Okay.
had a
Yeah,
whole
that was an
bunch of
RFP.
them that came in, like
Yeah.
10 or, and
Yeah,
then
that
we
was-
decided from that.
Yeah, that was an RFP, so, I mean, can we publish notification of the RFP and then to refer people to either your office or the county website, like that?
So is that your motion?
That is my motion.
All right, then. You got it, Cindy?
no,
She doesn't know where.
I would second that.
Yeah, we have a second by Commissioner Waterman. Could you read that motion back to me?
I did not hear anything very
Okay.
clear.
Okay, so to,
It's just action to publish and post a request,
For proposals.
an RFP for inmate health services on the county's website and in newspaper publications.
That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
the auditor's office can figure it out.
well, do you need to say something different? Because you don't want to put all 9 pages in the paper. Do you need
No.
to- You don't need do you need
No,
to say?
and that
you
the copies
say-
of the RFP can be obtained through the website
Well,
or
It's
the
just a
office of
notice.
county
You
Why don't
don't
we-
have to do the whole RFP, just a notice that this is
Yeah, why don't we
what's-
say this, like, publish the RFP for inmate health services on the county's website and made available in the auditor's office with notification in local newspapers, notification of same in local.
Somebody's going to write that notification up, right?
I'll help you with that.
We go back and look at
So-
what it was when we did the architect.
So is that, now is that the motion?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we got that
I know you've
cleared
asked me
up.
that, like,
She's
I know
got
I've
it
said yes
recorded.
about 3 times, and you've asked me about it.
We got that cleared up. So,
I'm not going to repeat it.
Clear as mud.
Nope, I'm not going to repeat it because it's going to be,
I was gonna
Lee and I will work
A
on.
work in
wait
progress.
a
so
minute.
Yes, nope, nope.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor, and our auditor says, please don't ask to repeat it, but we all have a pretty good understanding what it is, don't we?
Just to publish the RFP.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically to
Okay.
publish it.
Well, a
Got it.
notice, not the actual RFP.
Well, we're going to publish, no, I'm sorry, we do need to clear this up then. So publish the RFP online and made available in the
Well,
auditor's
yeah,
office with
yes.
notification of same in the local newspapers.
Yeah.
So,
That's pretty clear to me. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries.
okay, well, I'll stop
Thank you.
by.
All
Thanks,
Do you want
right,
Brad.
to go down to, there's another, what do you want to do, the cameras?
Oh,
all right, let's,
yeah, is Brad part of that, security camera stuff?
Number 9?
No, that's Milo.
Okay.
That's Milo.
yep, let's go on to Mrs. Ford. I see she's here. We're gonna do the camping fees. And it's in your packet, or at least I read it somewhere.
Emailed. I received an
Yeah, it's
email
at
on
the
it.
end of the meeting. Yeah, Milo called, yep.
And it's good to see you got dug out. You're out of the park anyway, huh?
Well, the truck won't do it again. Next time we get blowed in, we're gonna be in.
Now, is that in the packet, or I know I had an
Is it
email.
That was
email?
electronically transmitted.
All right,
Yep.
okay, that's where I saw it. Basically, it was, go ahead.
All right, we have compared the rates at the state and local campgrounds in our area, and we suggest keeping our camping rates at the present, at what it is presently. The state campgrounds are 21 per night for an electrical site, plus entry fees. Full service is not available. Stokes Thomas City Park is 22 per night for electrical, 30 for full hookup, and they only have 6 available full hookups. Memorial is 22 per night for electrical, 24 per night for full hookup, and we are adding tenting sites to our price list at 15 because we made tenting sites last year due to high demand. Our wood bundles are $4, and we provide a larger bundle than most places, and we are $1 cheaper, but we would like to keep the price the same to discourage people from bringing their own firewood in.
Okay.
And we are in the process of remodeling Compesca Hall. That is the building that was on the shoreline behind the office, and adding restrooms to the building. And our current rental fee is $57 for all of our buildings, and we would like to increase the rate for Compesca Hall to $75 after it's done being remodeled.
Okay? Would
That's
that be
I would
75?
per event, per night, per day?
Would that be 75 then for each building? Or just
No,
for
just for
Pesco?
that one.
Just for Compesca. I'll make a motion to approve those.
We have a motion by
camping
Hatton,
fees.
a second by
I'll second.
Troy. Any more discussion? So it's $75 a day just for the Capesco
Yeah.
Hall and 50 for the others.
57.
57 for the other, yeah. All right. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you for having a good season out there.
It was great.
All the reports are coming back good and solid and very positive. All right, let's go on to, do we need Jim for this one?
No,
All right, number 9, action to approve application for Homeland Security grant funds for courthouse grounds security cameras. Need a motion? Motion by Commissioner Waterman, second by Gable. Discussion. Well, I was amazed that we don't have them already. I was, you know, we've been doing this for some time, and a lot of the schools in our communities all have security cameras, and we didn't have one here.
Then we
didn't
would
have
know
one
who would draw on our buildings going forward, probably.
The only question I'd have, Mr. Chairman, is what percentage is going to be Homeland Security and what percentage will the county have to pay for?
here. And is there a breakdown in this?
no, there's nothing yet. It's just applying for the funds at this point.
In the past, I think it's the Homeland Security funds.
Pays for the whole thing.
Taking the whole thing, yeah.
Yes.
So this
Yep.
is just approval to apply for the
To
grant.
apply for
Yeah.
the grant, yes.
Grant funds.
Yep.
We won't know until it's.
And Mike, here, I just had a,
Good question, though. Yeah, good question. Made us think back to what's happened, but to my knowledge, when we've done it for the other outlying schools, it's covered it. Well, I think they said this is how much money we have to spend, and this is how many cameras you're gonna get with this money, so that's the way it worked. Any more discussion? Any more? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Going to number 10, action to approve a notice to bidders for Highway Department pole building. That's Rick. Come on, Rick. Share with us your thoughts. And that is in your packet. The notice to bidders and as well as the electrical and the concrete and the whole 9 yards.
This is the pole building that we're going to use for our sign shop and storage that we tried to do last year and things didn't work out. In the specs, there is one clerical error. It's called perma columns. I have perm columns.
And where is that at?
It'd be the
What-
second page,
On-
right above the inside structure.
What's it supposed to be?
Perma,
Okay.
perma columns.
is that those concrete columns they put in the ground?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So this project actually got delayed because weren't we running out of season last
Yeah.
year or something?
Yes.
If I remember right?
I think it got,
Part of it was the fire marshal, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had
that's right.
issues with the
Firewall.
inside structure, and
Yeah.
I've checked with them, and that hasn't changed any from what it was last year, so we have to sheetrock both sides, or double sheetrock both sides
For the
of
firewall.
the inside structure, so.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the project was in last year's budget,
Yes,
in the 2018 budget.
yes.
And could we pull that forward into the 2019?
You can't pull it forward, no.
I know you can't pull it forward, it just sounded pretty good.
But you'd rolled the money,
The cash is there, but I
Yeah.
mean, and
It's budgeted for. this
I
year.
don't remember if the board took action to budget for it in
Yeah.
2019. It's possible, okay. I would have to go back and look at the minutes.
That was in your budget for
Yeah.
2019. Where is this building going to be, Rick?
it'll be in our north yard, up where our gravel piles and
Okay.
reground pile and culverts are.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve to
We
notice,
already, oh, I'm sorry, never mind.
to notice to bidders for the Highway Department pole building.
We have a motion by Van Duzen and a second by Commissioner Waterman. Any discussion? Isn't this the one that you knocked down?
Yes.
That's where that one, that'll
Yep,
right
it'll be
there.
in that same
Yeah.
vicinity.
Remember that old building that was just tore down last fall?
Yep. Yep. Good spot.
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? See none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
And now we have action to approve abatement applications. And what do we have there, Cindy?
We have 5 abatement applications. 3 of them are for property owners who qualify for a state program. The other 2 are for the Watertown School District, who purchased 2 different pieces of property, and because they are a tax-exempt entity, we have to prorate the amount of taxes to abate for the time period that they own the property. So we have 5 abatements totaling $2,726.96, and the Watertown City Council also needs to take action on these,
Move
since they
to-
are within the Watertown.
Move to approve those
Motion by
abatements.
Hatton, second by Gable. Discussion. Any discussion?
The 3 abatements for the property owners who qualify for a program, their applications have to be reviewed and to make sure that they do qualify, and that's done in the treasurer's office.
Okay, and they did approve.
Yes, they do qualify.
Okay. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
The total of the abatements was
27, 26, 96, right?
2726.96.
All right, number 12. This is an unusual request here. I got a kick out of that because I enjoyed watching the Lions sink last year. But we have action to approve the Watertown Lions Club raffle. And do we have anybody here that's representing the Lions Club?
No, they could not be here today. It's been a long time since we have approved one of these. There is a state law out there that organizations authorize under a subdivision of this section of law before conducting a bingo game or before selling any chances for a lottery have to give notice to the governing board of the location where the lottery would be held. So I believe the Lions have contacted the city of Watertown and Cottington County, because that's where they'll be selling their raffles.
So last year's raffle was in error,
Not
unintentionally in error?
Not necessarily an error. Like I said, there's a lot of raffles that are going around here that, we don't get requests for authorization. And actually, there is no action that the board needs to take unless you're going to deny something. So basically,
It says action to approve, so don't we need a motion
well,
to
and
approve?
that's my mistake.
Okay.
That's my mistake, because I did not have the law in front of me. They just need to give you written notice.
Okay.
And this is
And you
for
have to
the,
acknowledge, you can acknowledge the written notice.
All we
This
have
is
to
the-
do is acknowledge their request and grant
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, acknowledge, and if there are no objections, there's no action.
and just for the public, I guess, this is the Sink the Lion fundraiser where they put the lion out
Yep.
on the ice
Yes.
at Lions Park, and they wait for it to fall through the ice.
And they will be selling chances to the public to guess, and that's where the lottery.
I think you'll probably go down the 5th of July this year.
It's not live.
It's not a
is
real
it,
lion. It's not a real lion, no.
All in favor of a general consensus, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, there we go. We have a general consensus to go ahead with the raffle, and good luck. I hope that they make a lot of money. It's a good cause. Number 13 is a discussion regarding proposed memorandum of understanding between Cottington County and Midwest Developers, Inc.
Morning.
And here we are. Good morning, Ann.
Good morning. We have Mosley here.
Are you talking to the microphone so they...
My name's Amy Mosley.
Amy Maza.
Yep, I'm representing Midwest Developers, Inc.
Welcome, Amy. All right, go ahead.
Okay, Amy's here. Basically, they're starting a new title company in Cottington County. And by statute, they're required to establish a title plant, which requires them to scan and take copies of everything in our office so that they have a plant to go from. Then the state statute, let's see.
Which is also in your pack. It
7915.
should be concluded with your
Yeah.
we
your
all have
printouts.
it. We have it in our packet.
For the right one here. Number 6 within there, commissioners shall fix by resolution the fees to be paid by the licensed abstractors to the county. Prior to when I started, 20 plus years ago, First Dakota Title was the last title company to be established that came into being. From that time, like I said, it was before I started. I remember after I started, they were here taking copies and scanning. From what we have found, there is no resolution that's been set out there. So one thing within this, we are going to have to set some type of resolution as to the fees that the title company will be paying. So that's one of the things moving forward. And I guess I'll let Amy
Right.
discuss what they're requesting.
Yeah, so I did kind of type up a memorandum of understanding. I actually did start a title company in Brookings County, so I did that in '08. So I've been through this process before. I am registered with the state. They have a board of abstractors, actually, and we have to notify them and do our due diligence with them before we come to you, which is complete. So we are now coming to you to kind of tell you what our scope of work is, and then what we would like to offer to you guys, and then what we will essentially be doing while we're here. I did have Bev, she's the Register of Deeds in Brookings County, write a letter of recommendation as to how that plant, when we established it, was conducted, and that all the records were handled accordingly, because that's really the big thing, is handling the records with the utmost of confidence and making sure that we don't do any damage to those. What we're requesting is, as when I was talking to Ann, is that you currently do not have scanned images since the beginning of time. And it sounded like she has started budgeting for some of those things, but what we're offering is that we would hopefully work with Ann, and we're willing to give those back to you guys, working through something with our attorney and the state's attorney here, so that you don't have to go through that process again. So there's really no reason for both of us to go forward scanning everything twice. So I think we can make this a win-win for both the county and ourselves. Now, what I'm proposing is, I think that this was maybe tried to be handled before with the other title company, and the images were not able to be used. So what I would like is that we work with Ann, and then would be giving her documents as we go. We scan the images, and then we take them back to our office and do all the data entry. I'm assuming it'll be about a 3-month process. I'm only asking to be in here during office hours. I know there was some accordance on the other, when they were in after hours. I'm confident that I can get it done during business hours, and work with Ann's staff to make sure too, if there's any questions, it's just nice to have somebody available. So we would be coming up having 2 scanners and essentially need a space. It's very similar to Brookings. We had to put them on carts and take them down to a lower level, and we scanned so we weren't in the way of their daily work. And so we would suggest that we do that again, and it sounds like you have somewhat of kind of a setup like that. So it's really determining a rent fee. Now, I did exactly what we did at Brookings County on this, and so no, those rents may have to be adjusted or worked through, but it gave us a starting point for both of us to start going forward to do this. The only thing I'm requesting is we already have the software installed at our office, and there's quite a significant amount of setup, and Ann is actually going to be out, until the end of February, so we're proposing to have something closer to the end of February that we can be hopefully come back to you guys with after our attorneys review and things, and then start after, of course, Ann gets back. But what they do have is some digital images from 2001 forward. And we're just proposing that we pay for them the same that the abstract company is paying now. They pay 50 cents a document, I believe, just so that we can get some of our software set up prior to that. So we have a little bit of in-house work to do before that. So we would just be asking to be treated the same as the other abstract company until such time. Now, if you guys decide that that has changed, if it would go up or down, once we get an occurrence, we're saying that we would just readjust the difference with the county, depending on what the long-term, once you do your ordinance, since you don't really have one in place. If it's something different, we would negotiate, or adjust to whatever fees those were for what we've taken to that point. So essentially, that's what we're doing. It's very exciting, yeah. And it'll be all digital, so that'll be nice to have a plant off-site with your records. And I think too, with what you guys want to do too, you'll be able to make fees against those, those scanned images once we give them to you, which is what I'm offering, is to do that so that you can have those to the beginning of the time. So yeah, save you some money as well.
All right, in the agenda item today, we've got merely discussion regarding proposal of memorandum of understanding between county and county Midwest developers. So we can't take any action on this item today. But Ann, would you come with a proposal next week? And at that time, we would review it and take action at that time?
Well, and I think in the past, when I went back and looked at stuff, the state's attorney was involved as well.
Yes, yes.
So I mean, coming together with some kind of understanding at that time, and then.
There was another gentleman that had an interest in doing this as well, that has reached out to me this past week, and I understand he talked with you as well?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not sure how that all ties in with what we're talking about.
Right, and I don't know anything as far as if they're moving forward or what their
So that's
intentions
separate
are,
from
but,
what
I basically told them they would have to meet with the commissioners and get on the agenda. I don't know if anything's happened.
No. We would have to go back and review what we charged previously when that was done. That's something that needs to be taken into consideration. Another thing that I have concerns is the quality of the images. So we would definitely,
My proposal is that I would just give them to Anna as we do them. So we actually, the scanner that I do actually puts each book on a disc, or we can put it on a thumb drive, however she wants the images. And then she can review them. If she doesn't want them, if they're not the quality she wants, then we're completely fine with that. We want them. I know they'll be fine for us because we've done it before. Now, we bring in some pretty technology-driven scanners. We don't purchase them, we lease them, but it took me quite a while to find these, and they actually are amazing. When I got through my title company there, we didn't have to, we could pull up the image on one side, and then we do the data entry on the other. So if I can't read them, we can't do any data entry back at my office either, if that makes sense.
So are you using the same company that you used when you did it in Brookings?
I am.
So we could always look at the Brookings County images that they have, because they
not
didn't purchase
receive
them?
They did not.
images.
Okay.
There was civil action or lawsuit action.
So when you do the,
on that one.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, just a question. So when you do the data entry, that's where you're making the image searchable? So
Yes.
you're making all the text searchable in the
So yeah, I take the images and then I actually index them essentially.
right.
But you would just get the images, of course. But
Right.
that's all Ann really wants,
Right.
because then she can turn around and sell those documents when people come up and need copies of whatever it might be. So
Just use those rather than getting out the old books and trying.
Ryan, to
Well,
make
and
copies.
that's where, when First Dakota Title did come into play, there was an agreement with the commissioners at that time. Once we were digitized, they would provide those copies. We did get those copies, and they have been, some of the images have been implemented into our system now. And like Amy said, they're not the best quality copies. And, as far as I'm concerned, I talked to you in the past of going with another company that scans and enhances the images and stuff, and that's still on the table, like we said, depending on quality.
Right.
Yeah, it would all been if Ann thinks they're usable for you guys, on your end. So
Right.
All right.
But my attorney is John Delzer. He's a state's attorney for Hamlin County, so he could work with the state's
Have
attorney.
you had a chance to work on the logistics?
No,
Okay.
no. I talked
mean,
to Milo.
you did,
Just
okay.
about, because what we were thinking is right outside of our vault, there's area there, and I kind of talked to Milo in the
Is there a
basement.
power supply?
That's what
Okay.
will depend on.
Okay, all right.
The scanning system, I guess.
Yeah, so I'll
You
get
know.
those specs to Ann, and then we can work through that.
Okay,
Yeah.
we've, any more questions for Ann or Amy? Thank you for coming up, Amy.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
And Ann, you'll work with Cindy if you want it on the agenda for next week, all right?
Depends on if she's able to get that all done, but
If you need,
whatever.
If you need
Yeah.
more time the following week, whatever works for you, okay?
Okay, sounds
So
good.
just to clarify, can I purchase then those images, the ones just to get us going to work through our,
Do we
The
have a
digital?
we don't have a set rate or anything. We
there's
need to
nothing-
develop-
well, you do charge the current title company a fee. I'm just asking to do that, and then when you do your ordinance, if it's different, then I would be willing to adjust whatever fees you come up with.
Do
It's
you
just to
have
get
have
us
that
going.
on the agenda to take
I think
action
we'd
on
have to
that?
have that, we can't take action today on something like that, I don't
No.
believe. We'd have to
We
put
would
that on
have
for
to take
next
action on
week.
that- on that.
I was gonna say, do you have to? Because you're already charging that fee to somebody else. It's not like
Lawyer
it's, yeah.
No, we would have to, we can't take action on that.
But she's not, at this point, you're being just like,
I'm a
well,
normal customer.
Normal.
Yeah.
And it's a state
They should
statute.
have access to that.
Yeah, you can't
pays
deny
that
access
set
to
rate.
records publicly.
No.
but it's, you're acting not as an individual, as a title company though, correct? But
Right.
I don't know. I guess the only thing is to ask the state's attorney if she'd have take any issue with that, I guess, and I don't know.
As long, yeah, that's, yep, shouldn't be.
As long as the state's attorney is okay with it.
Well, and that's,
Because the request is to,
All I want to do is purchase what you're currently charging the other abstract company, the copies that you have digital, so we can just get our plan up and going while we're going through this process.
How much of that is already done though?
for
2001.
digital, we started scanning in like 2001.
I don't know, what's your thoughts, Ann?
I mean, what media are you going to take them on?
I can either do a thumb drive or a disc or whatever you want to do, Ann.
And I think, basically it's my concern, which I need to talk with our software, because we do have the images from First Coda implemented in there. So as far as figuring out a rate per document that you wouldn't be paying twice for.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
not really.
Because these old documents
Yep.
that we've implemented in there are
Yep.
going to be on a document count.
Okay.
So you'll be
But
doing
you
them,
know-
but then you'll also be taking them
How long have you been doing it out of your office? You directly scanning?
since 2001, but those
But-
images are also in there as well.
But I mean, yeah, but since a time though, that's just been you exclusively. 2000.
Right, 2001.
And that's you
Yeah.
exclusively, so it can't be any of their documents.
Yeah, there, I mean,
Because
we
the
have
older
talked
ones
with
wouldn't be
her.
on there yet.
They
but
wouldn't be on there, yeah.
I guess the main thing is find out from the
Going by
state's
book.
attorney what,
Yeah,
That's
so
okay.
we
I'll
don't
just
have
John-
something happen
Yep.
like what happened in Brookings County, I guess, so.
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
who-
nothing.
Who's your attorney? did you
John
say?
Delzer, yep.
Okay.
He's the Hamlin County. So we'll just have him
Okay.
check with yours, and if
Yeah.
there's a problem, no problem, you guys. But if we can, then we'd like to do that, because,
Jump start on it?
yeah, just to get going.
Would we
so-
need a resolution in place for that to happen?
Yeah, that's why I'm not.
Yeah, we can ask. There is a state statute that regards to abstractors for counties to follow, which is
Right.
out there. And so it's just, and you already have a fee you've established right now that you're
Right.
using. So it should not be, I'm saying we'll still pay for them.
So
It's just if
you're-
you come up with something different, if it would be more, then we'll have to adjust. If it's less, then we don't care, then we'll figure it out from
So
there.
according to the state, you are officially a title company doing
Yeah.
business as?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it would be establishing a partnership with you and your business.
Well, not so much right now.
Isn't that what isn't that
long
where it
term-
could get cloudy?
Well, long-term, that's what we would be.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm just a person, I'm an abstract company. We're not a full abstract company till we're up
Mm-hmm.
and running. They can't grant us until they approve our plant.
Right.
Our plant's only as good as we do our data entry, they come in and test us. But prior to that, though, there's rules to help us so we can pay for these things, right? And be able to also, yes, partner with you guys, because then we'll have your records off-site, so it's a secondary location, but then also the rights to come in and do this.
You're a vendor with a proposal.
True, very true, very true. Yep.
That's what you are.
But we're trying to make it beneficial for you guys too, because we're willing to offer back you those documents. And yes, and we don't want to get in a situation, absolutely. But we won't, because I know what happened last time. So we're just asking to be treated the same, and then go forward with the resolution, and you guys get all your things in a row, and then we can go forward as a setup here and start working.
I guess
All
the
right.
thing is to ask our state's attorney if
Yep.
she finds any issue with it. and-
Try and get.
Commissioners,
get things
are
worked
you
out.
all
Yep.
on board? You all okay with this?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
Thanks for coming up.
It's new
Yeah.
ground, so we'll get through it. Thank you.
All right, let's go to number 15, and that's action to approve change orders for courthouse remodel project. I didn't see any in here.
No, there are none.
There are
Yeah, I'm
none.
anticipating one again for the security checkpoint. We talked about not the point, but the wall, the movable walls. So just, they're working on that.
Got that corner opened up now
Which corner?
in the southwest.
Yeah, okay. That's not part of it, but yeah,
No,
that's.
no, but I mean, they
yeah.
got the plastic down
Right.
and it's opened
Yeah.
up.
I haven't went way back in to know where like the judges' chambers and where the deliberation room, any of that. Is that accessible? I haven't tried
Yeah,
to go back in there.
we can go down there after the meeting.
I was in there last week. It looks nice.
Yeah. It's
I'm
very-
anxious to
it
get
looks-
back in there.
Yeah, it looks fairly finished. Overall, the big, probably the big major thing in the courtroom is the IT, the
Right.
audiovisual stuff that's going in, so.
What, 2 weeks? We're
I
into
think,
January,
yeah,
we're
probably,
into February now.
Probably about like that. And then we're looking into February for all the security stuff, so, yeah. That's.
Will they be able to hold court in there before the security stuff is installed?
I think it's a matter, probably.
Staffing on the
Probably,
sheriff's.
it's probably a matter of getting things scheduled then. So, and then, it's gonna be, you also have to work with as long as the security checkpoint's not there, that's gonna take more deputies
Sure.
to do that, so.
All right, okay, action to approve claims for payment.
Make them, isn't he gonna do explanation?
We actually have salary claims, and then we have one other claim. It's the 911 monthly payment to the Watertown City Finance Office in the amount of $20,253.93, and these are for 911 surcharge collections from the month of November. And then we have January payroll claims, where we have to publish the name of each employee and their salaried amount. Total salaries for January are $570,709.90.
Move to approve those.
Second.
Motion by Hatten,
Let's have two different claims. One for the 911
Two
payment
different motions.
first.
One
Yeah.
Make a motion
911.
for the 911
all right,
surcharge.
a motion by Hatton for the approve the 911.
I'll second that
And
motion.
second by Van Duzen. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Now we'll do the second.
Move to approve those salary claims as well.
Second.
Motion to approve the salary claims by Hatton, second by Commissioner Waterman. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Any budget supplements, automatic budget supplements?
Nothing for 17 or 18.
Travel requests, we have one in here today, that I see anyway.
It's for the highway superintendent to attend the annual superintendent's short course.
Move
Make-
to approve.
Motion by Hatton, second by Waterman. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Both same side, motion carries. Do we have any old business, unfinished business that we need to address? Any old, mature business? Any old business? Seeing none, let's go on to any new business. Any new business?
There is one item, I guess,
Go ahead,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Warman.
maybe in the old or new area. I talked a little bit about the JDAI meeting that we had. One of the things that's from the state level, and I forget the name of the office, but within the UJS, the Unified Judicial System, some grant funding that's possibly going to be available. So we're looking for and essentially that would be something that would help us with the JDAI program. So JDAI stands for the Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative. So things that would either provide an alternative for juveniles so they don't have to go to jail, or diversion programs, such as teen court. And so the thought behind that is going to be able to use these funds to hire somebody. So right now we've been talking with the state's attorney, probably talking to the Boys and Girls Club, and how we would handle that. So that's just FYI at this point, just coming down the pike. So, and there's other issues whenever you deal with a grant, talking about sustainability after the grant is done and stuff like that. So just that's kind of an FYI for now. And
I have a question, like what our boys and girls are at the Boys and Girls Club with the teen court, is that on the same sort of program as what they have down in Brookings? What is that
you
called
mean
down there?
the teen challenge?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're very different. So teen court is basically it's called a diversion program, where, say, you have a juvenile offender that does something, does a real crime,
Right.
but in order to avoid a criminal record, then working with the state's attorney and the Boys and Girls Club, they say, okay, we'll go through this process of teen court. So the offender has to say, I'm responsible. There's no like guilty pleas and
Right.
all that stuff. But you own up to, you take responsibility for what you did.
Yeah, I realize
And then-
that, but
and
down
then-
in Brookings.
In Brookings Teen Challenge, that's more of a soup to nuts resident program of where, and I'm not super familiar with it, but essentially people, they could be people that have been in the criminal justice system or just have, say, a drug addiction problem, and they want to change their lives, basically. And so that's a resident program where they're living there in the dorm. So it doesn't really, it's kind of the Teen Challenge is kind of a misnomer. It actually is a lot of young adults. But apparently it's very successful. So it's called, the organization we're talking about is Teen Challenge of the Dakotas. And by the way, that's kind of a segue when Senator Northrup from Brown County, who's the Senate sponsor for Senate Bill 65, that addresses the funding issues for justice facilities, his idea was to include incarceration reduction facilities like Teen Challenge as one of the things you could fund with that option. So those kinds of things, it's kind of a nice balance really between, you want to be looking at, if you need infrastructure for an alternative that will reduce the jail population, well, let's encourage that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I've just heard really good things.
Yeah, I
People
have
are
too.
very impressed with
Yeah.
how that runs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go down and take a look at it.
I tried to set up a tour about a month or so ago, but the gentleman, Mr. Gilmartin, was very busy. So, and understandably so, he's running that program. So I had a nice talk with him on the phone, and yeah, it sounds very impressive. So, but it's probably more of a regional asset. It sounds like it's, from what my impression, it's a pretty big deal.
It'd be quite costly.
Yeah.
sort of
So,
thing, if you're doing it on your own.
and the state does kick in $30 a day for operational costs per person that's there. So,
Wonder how they got that.
yeah. So kind of a public-private partnership.
All right, any other new business?
One more question, Lee, when that Senate bill,
65.
when that comes up, are you going to want
Yeah.
people to rally out?
Yeah, so Senate Bill 65 is the one where basically counties would get permission to ask voters for a half-penny sales tax when it comes time to do justice facilities like jails and courthouses. And so not just having the only option of property tax, but adding that option of a half-cent sales tax to do that instead. If that would be better in a particular county. And we think that's going to be in committee. We know the committee assigned to it is Senate Local Affairs, or local government rather. And it'll probably be heard either Monday or Friday next week. I'm sorry, Wednesday or Friday next week. The legislature doesn't meet on Monday next week, so it should be either Wednesday or Friday of next week. which is, you have the dates handy, what those,
So it would be, well, that's during the farm show, either the 6th or the 8th then.
yep, yep. Yep, so, yeah, I do plan to be in Pier for whenever that is, so. And then also, and I know the Association of County Commissioners is letting people know if the commissioners from other counties want to come and, say something to the committee. that they'd
You're
be-
saying though, so it's supposed to happen at 8:30. When would be the opportune time to get in front of them? Or are you saying?
Well,
wait
you
for
do it
that
during
committee
what you
meeting?
do it, basically, it's kind of like a zoning meeting, where people come in, they sign a roster, and
Yeah.
if you want to testify pro or anti.
Right. I just wasn't sure if you were meaning to wait till the committee or,
Well, it's nice to know when it's going to be, but,
Right.
yeah, but I'll probably be, if you want to contact legislators, especially ones that are on the committee, that's great.
The one thing that I found that was quite effective is to identify those that are on that committee and who the chair is, and especially get to the chair of that committee with
Yeah, yeah.
a notification that you're supporting it, and then you can go ahead and contact all the other members of that committee too.
Yeah.
But as you get closer, Lee, will you
Yeah, I'll
send an
definitely
email
let it-
out to all of us so that we
Yeah, definitely,
make certain we get to the right people?
yeah,
well,
definitely.
we did receive an email from Chris that talks about both, because also Senate Bill 103.
Yeah, that's
about
another
the
good
road
comment.
and
That's
bridge
one.
funds,
That's coming out of
transferring
Brown
that.
County.
They're both going to be in there, and they have the chairs and the
Yeah,
vice chair.
so, yeah,
So that's.
that's in that email from,
Yes,
yeah, who the.
that
who the
information's
committee
already
members
been
are.
sent to us.
So, but, yeah, there was an initial email, it was initially scheduled for tomorrow, and then they realized that wasn't going to work, so they deferred it to next week, which is kind of what we originally expected, working with the South Dakota Association of County Commissioners, so.
All right, anything else for new business? Let's go to the open then. Anything for the open?
I'd like to ask the board to note the passing of former Cottington County Treasurer Peg McNulty. Peg took office in 1971, and she served until 1996. She passed away last week. Her funeral services are this morning. So I just, for the minutes, I'd like to note that. All right.
Thank you.
She was treasurer when I was registered of deeds.
Was she? Yeah, she was elected in 1970, took office in 71, and served until 96 when Carol was elected and Peg
Career
retired.
of public service. Thank you, Peg.
Yeah, many years of public service. She served on the city council too, didn't she?
No,
Did she?
nope,
I was thinking that she was on the.
Pat did.
Oh,
Pat Walder did. When she retired, she
Yeah.
went to the city council, yeah.
Yep, very good. Anything else? I have.
Yeah, we have a notice here from the city of Watertown, notice of public hearing on the creation of a tax increment finance district. They are notifying the county that there will be a public hearing to create a tax increment finance district within the city of Watertown. The public hearing is February 7th at 4:15 p.m. This will be tax increment district number 7, and this to assist with improvements related to the Terex Corporation expansion at Mallard Point Business Park.
That meeting would be at City Hall, I'm guessing. Or at the-
7,
In the council chambers,
what time, 4:30?
February 7th at
4:15.
4:15. And they are required by law to give notice to the county as a taxing entity. So I will keep this.
Yep, you can have that. You
All right.
keep it. All right, anything else? A couple other things here. I do have a letter from the Watertown Volunteer Center. I'm writing this letter on behalf of the Watertown Volunteer Center to thank you for the requested funds that were received from the treasurer of Cottington County, an amount of $2,500. We believe the Volunteer Center serves as an important resource for our nonprofits in our community. Thank you, and continued support, Shar Torgerson. So thank you, Shar, for acknowledging the receipt of their donation, of our donation. Anything else for the open? Any other meetings coming up that anyone can think of?
Commissioner Gable, there is a chance I might go to that meeting in Pierre on Friday, next Friday, just to make you aware that I might be there as well. Cool. I also did reach out to Nancy York and expressed our appreciation for her in supporting Senate Bill 65. So.
Yeah, so, yeah, just for everybody's information, she's the prime sponsor in the House for that bill, so.
Okay, I do have a request for an exec session, so I'll
I'll
entertain
make a
a motion to
motion,
go.
but what?
Personnel.
Okay,
Personnel,
number one.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to go in under one.
Motion by Hatton, second by Gable.
There be
Any
any
discussion?
Any action to follow?
I don't believe there'll be any action. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are in executive session.